killed Ted Hollister. You should have said you bastards because he killed Ted Hollister.
You bastards?
Yeah, that was stupid. Anyway.
Nice one, babe. Mm-hmm.
What? Gotta throw a little cheese every now and again. Doesn't it hurt?
Oh, I love cheese.
Yeah. Anyway, I am Lord Raven. This is Blood Honey. And continuing on with our Halloween review series, we just watched Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, which I know she definitely missed considering the last entry of the series.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
To say the least. So again, to reiterate, I am for the most part well versed in this series and horror in general. She not so much. So this is a review and also sort of reaction coming from her side going into it, not really knowing much about it. Now, after just having sat through Halloween 4, how do you feel walking away from it?
It was definitely more like the second one. Like the third one didn't even happen, which is...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the third one, it makes the third one look like an independent sort of movie apart from the rest.
Yeah, I mean, of course, after the reception of the third one, people were wondering, hey, what the hell is this? Where's Michael? Where's the white mask? Where's any of it?
Silver Shamrock.
It's just like, okay, yeah, we kind of screwed up there. So let's go back to basics. So basically, after the whole Halloween anthology series didn't turn out so well, they like, you know what, screw it. We're going back to Michael Myers. So 10 years after the fact, 10 years after the original, this was released in 1988, and it does take place, as you hear in the film, 10 years after the events of the first film. And so it picks up with Michael in a coma. And so they're off to move his body, and then that's when, of course, he awakes, and then all hell begins to break loose.
Again.
Yeah, again. With this film, how do you feel in terms of as far as like the horror aspect, like the kills and everything? Do you feel like it exceeded the last couple of films, or do you think it's?
It's. I think it's just like the rest of them. I mean, they weren't exactly far out scary, you know. It par for the course, without it sounding like horrible. They weren't like cheesy kills, you know.
Yeah.
But they were impressive, like the shotgun one.
Yeah. yeah. That is actually, I would say in this one probably the most memorable, and to some degree, just because it's like, well, Michael, I don't need no damn shells. I'm just gonna jam it through your gut and stick you to the wall. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. That was definitely like in the first one with the knife.
Yeah, I'm just gonna up the ante though.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as the gore effects, they actually do look pretty good and pretty realistic. A lot of
the skull smashing just. And,
it's a lot like the first one where he's mostly working by hand, you know, strangulations and such. But in this one, it's like he's grabbing people, but he is like crushing them and jamming thumbs into their face and breaking their collarbones and all that stuff. So, yeah, he definitely ups the ante in this film. But at this point, it's been 10 years. It's the late 80s. I mean, this is the way horror has been, especially with Friday the 13th. You know, at this point, because they would have been on their 8th film in that year. So a lot of the gore factor has definitely been upped, and, you know, the standard of that. This film, of course, your surprise, you thought after the end of part 2 that Loomis was pretty much a dead man, and yet he's back in this.
Yeah, that was my... Instantly, I saw the name pop up, I'm like, wait, he's not dead? What?
Yeah. I mean, that's horror
Disfigured?
for you.
That's impressive. I'm surprised it could survive that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's sort of par for the course in these older horror films. Yeah. It's like, you know, I mean, no one's ever really dead in these things. Because, of course, that was meant to be the end. It was meant to be definitive, but, of course, they brought him back and explained that, yeah, he survived the explosion. He has burn marks on his face and everything. He sounds older, a little bit more, worn down after all that time and stuff. He's walking with a cane, Donald Pleasence as Loomis and stuff. But
yeah, again, part of it anyway.
Yeah. The performance, I feel like it's just as good. I think it's actually better than Part 2's performance. He still really brings it in terms of bringing, again, the grounded nature and someone to really kind of root for along the way, because it's not just him this time around, but in this film they introduced Danielle Harris as Jamie, a young girl who is explained to be Michael's niece and Laurie's daughter. So he's now hunting her. How did you feel about that character and that whole arc?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Interesting, I suppose. I was trying to wrap my head around that. Like, when did this happen? That's where I was. I'm like, but wait, when did this happen? Sort of thing.
Yeah. In this film, they don't really go into explaining a whole lot of it. But yeah, she is with an adoptive family. She has an older sister and stuff. And, she's caught up in this love triangle and it's whole dealing with, like, their relationship along the way and all of that. But as far as acting, especially from a child actor, Danielle Harris in this movie, who has continued to go on and do other things and stuff like that. She's well known in the horror community and whatnot. But yeah, as far as like a child performance, she actually does a really good job in this movie. And not only that, but also in this film, in terms of the environment, in terms of the Halloween feel, this is the first one where it really does feel like it's the fall weather. It is the Halloween film. You have the leaves, you have the smoke, the fog, all over the place. You really kind of get that vibe. And this one, I feel like what it does better, or at least does very well, as far as like the lighting, in terms of seeing Michael in the shadows. It really does have this sort of creepiness factor, because the mask in this movie, as even you said immediately right off the bat, you didn't like it as much as the previous ones, right?
Yeah, as the original, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people do think that with this movie. It's just, it looks a little bit more flat, like a little more blank. It doesn't really have as much definition.
It's like bright white.
Yeah.
You could tell.
Yeah, it's definitely missing a lot of the look of those first couple of films.
The charm.
Yeah. I mean, it's still creepy in its own right, especially, like I said, with this film, with the lighting, the way things are executed, the feel of everything. It still looks kind of creepy when you see it, but it just doesn't have that, as much of iconic look and feel to it. It does feel a little bit cheaper, I would say.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. So as far as, going through everything, and then once you get, towards the end, how do you feel about them leaving off where they did with this one?
All I could say was why. I kid you not, that's what I said. I'm like, but why? So I don't know. I'm mystified, and I'm hoping the next one kind of explains things.
Well, they kind of, sort of, not really do it. Yeah, the sad thing is that after this film, things don't really get much better over the next couple of films. This is where we kind of have. This is kind of where we have the downturn of the series.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. It'll take us a little while to kind of get back to quality Halloween films after this.
So we go back to like a number 3 sort of thing?
Not quite like that, but it just in terms of quality and, characters and stuff, it just kind of takes a bit of a downturn. Mm-hmm. So yeah. But, I mean, hey, this one was pretty decent, right?
Yeah, it was better than the third one. Like I said, it went back to more like the second one for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, that I definitely liked more. Yeah. Definitely not scary. Mm-hmm. I wasn't scared. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the ending of this movie is that it did. I think at the time it was pretty well received, at least in terms of the fans. You know, it was a pretty shocker ending. It's like, what the hell, like, happened? Yeah. I think the idea, what they wanted to do was is that they kind of wanted to set up Jamie sort of being a new Michael, because I think the way that it ended and stuff, I think it's, if I remember correctly, probably I think they wanted to play it like sort of like his evil passed on to her or something like that. I think that's kind of what they were going for. So, you know, even though Michael was, you know, quote unquote, like killed at the end of this movie, you know, the evil sort of lives on in her. That's why they sort of replicated the beginning of the original film. You know, her showing up, stabbing her mother with the scissors and all that. But Don Pleasance sells the ending very well, I will say that. Just his reaction, that's what really makes the ending, I would say.
Yeah.
Like that much more better, more intense. But yeah, and in the next one, they don't really follow through as much as you would think. Yeah, a lot of people were disappointed in that. It's like, you have an ending like that, it's like you don't really follow through. Not cool at all. But hey, this is what these horror films will do to you. They'll retcon the hell out of anything and everything if possible.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm. So, how would you say you'd rate this one?
Better than the last one. Definitely not as good as the first. So, yeah, probably on par with the second one.
Okay. So you rate probably like what, about 2.5, 3 maybe?
I don't remember what I said.
That's okay. Yeah, I'd probably rate this one probably about a 3. It's pretty solid.
That's what I said. It's like a 3 or a 4 or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I'd rate it probably like a 3. It's not quite the quality of the original film. But it's a solid entry. It's a solid slasher. And of course, just going back to, you know, bringing back Michael and going back to, you know, what Halloween was from the start. And like I said, just in terms of lighting, execution, the feel, in the gore effects, and just the suspense, and Donald Pleasance and Danielle Harris, like the combination of all of that, I feel like it makes for a pretty solid Halloween film. So it's not great, it's not terrible, but a solid entry, and we could only hope that they could have been a little better after this, but unfortunately not really. So.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I know you are. Yeah. Anyway, that's our review of Halloween 4. We hope you enjoyed watching, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.